Hello, good evening, and welcome back. And in this video, I will be sharing a portion of the 12th coaching session I had with Chilli. And I noticed that last week I haven't uploaded a video. That's because the audio was not good. There was a huge echo going on, and it was just not good. Unfortunate. So. To make up for it, I will be sharing a little bit more. It's a long session. It was a longer session than what I'm sharing, but still, I think it's going to be an hour. And we were going through some Sicilian games that I have played, so that is fun. Enjoy, and if you do enjoy it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That would really be appreciated. And let's go to the video.
Let's look at this one. So we're playing a Sicilian, hyper accelerated.
Yeah, exciting. That's fun.
This is very weird. This is not a good move because the bishop should not be sitting here. There is no reason whatsoever to not play knight c3 in this position, which makes more sense here because you control d5, you protect the pawn, and by playing bishop d3, it's just sitting here. Even if you push this pawn forwards, it's just staring at this very solid defense. So this bishop is not well placed. So yes, the way to punish this is simply develop in a better manner, and we do this. And they take us, which is also a problem of playing bishop to d3 because you've cut off the connection here. So again, knight c3 would be the move.
But how to recapture? That's the question.
Yeah, you can play d takes like you do in the game, but I would not recommend this. And it seems good because we can activate this bishop really quickly, but there's not a terrific square here for the bishop. Let's say we go here, maybe f3 comes in and we have to drop back to e6. We've committed the bishop to a square, and maybe this could be good, maybe it's not good. It's hard to say. And possibility of queens trading off, which is not great in this position. Because if they've played imprecisely, we want to play in an aggressive way, which is hard for them to equalize. Trading queens would be easier to equalize, so I feel that b takes would be a lot better. And not just because you avoid trades, it's because of the pawn structure you get. So white already has one pawn in the center only, and black has two center pawns. And we get an easy d5 because the pawn on c6 supports our d5 push, and they can't stop it. So castles, I like playing d5 immediately, before castling, before anything else. And you can see after this trade, we get this very nice structure.
Yeah, I see it.
Two center pawns against none.
This looks nice indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, and grandmasters will say that the Sicilian is a great opening for black because it is very beneficial for endgames. Even the starting few moves here, even if we play something like d4 takes, what we're left with is two center pawns against one, and this is generally beneficial for black in endgames. So starting from here, we get something which is positive for an endgame, but we're not too happy to trade directly if we change the pawn structure and make it symmetrical.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see.
We maintain the imbalance. So we get this position. If they try bishop b5, it is not scary. Bishop d7 defends, and it seems like white has not moved a single chess piece. They have not played the game yet. They're just
yeah, it's funny. They only cast
so far behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this can be very punished by them. And just to be very thorough here, let's say we go d5 and they push. What to do now? What do you think?
I think I would. Well, I was thinking about retreating the knight here.
Okay.
But they have an annoying sacrifice. That is annoying, I think. Because I would like to play then e6. That looks like an, I don't know, Caro-Kann type structure. Oh, I also have this move. I notice now I can also go here.
And the pawn's under attack, so can they defend that?
Bishop here. Hmm. 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 And then what? We can also just go back. Maybe that's more solid. That's so feels wrong to undevelop the knight. No. Can also go to the center, but I don't like that they can take.
Yeah, and then it's a queen trade again.
But here I have a tough time evaluating this. I mean, I don't have
Perfect.
to take.
So
I can maybe I can just go back. And if they take, I take. Is it scary?
yeah,
Hmm.
and it's the same idea for white, where they would take and open up our king, but it's not going down the pawn. So if we are going to play knight d7 and they push, we should be taking here.
Okay.
But let's look at this knight g4 line a bit, because I think there's a little bit more to it than just this and this. So knight g4, bishop f4, how do we proceed?
Well, I need to do something active because this is coming.
Yes.
So how to apply more pressure? Well, I could play this because the bishop is undefended here. But he's going to bring a rook over. Oh, but the bishop is still undefended. Wait. But then what? Oh, I also have a mate threat then, if my knight lands here.
He does have bishop f4, so
Ah, yeah, of course the bishop is here. Well, it's a good visualization exercise.
yes.
Oh, but what about queen here? Then we are pressuring this pawn as well. And this pawn.
Queen
But
c1.
then what? Queen c1. Bishop. Isn't that enough? They can't defend with the rook because this pawn is hanging. With check. That should do it, right?
Yeah,
I
so
think.
we go knight g4, bishop here. I like playing bishop g7 first because it's less committal than placing your queen in a possible threat. Then they play this, and then we can consider either this or this. So yeah, this is very comfortable here for black.
What,
Especially queen b6, given the fact that there is this check here, which looks very nice. We
but
would have to consider though what happens after king here and then eventually h3. We'd probably have to go back to this square,
oh no, but
which could be nice.
we can take right away, right? Then it's check with the knight.
Oh, we can, yeah, we can take the knight and it's hitting the queen.
But
We can even take check.
but what if they retreat the bishop? So here.
Takes.
Of course. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's actually
And
quite.
not only we hit the rook, we also hit the pawn in the center. So some very nice geometry there.
Yeah.
However, one thing that should also be considered is what if we play knight to g4 and f4? Trying to go for a solid defense.
Hmm. Well, this comes to mind first. That's a nice square for the bishop or for the knight.
It's a good square that blockades the pawn, but I also think that f4 is always a very committal move. Ben Feingold always says never play f6 and f3, and because it opens up a very strong diagonal here.
Ah, this check. Oh, this wins on the spot or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah.
Here, and white can say goodnight.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can't do this here as white. You could also play this, and this is a way that I like to play. Maybe in this specific case, given how bad this piece placement is, and the position in general for white, you could play knight g4, and this would be best. It feels like it would be best. But in normal conditions, we would generally play knight d7. And then they do have to play f4, which is funny. And the way to punish this is we don't need to give this check immediately. We can actually wait a bit and play something like bishop to bishop f6. Oh, sorry, no. We need to play an important move first. We do need to play e6 to stop this idea now.
Yeah.
They can't play it now because if they do, it's not enough. They haven't developed enough to make any real threats. I mean, even if they go queen to f3, it's still not going to be enough because there is no way to attack this pawn, and we can always play a future move like knight f6 or knight e5, and it's defended.
Yeah.
So it's actually a very powerful pawn here. But in this case, after knight d7, f4, we do need to start worrying about this, and now we would just follow through with the plans. So let's say here, they would probably go here. We could consider playing this check. I don't know if it's great in this position. Also because our knight isn't in the place we'd like it to be for this queen b6 check. But let's just say we don't play it, and maybe we miss an opportunity, but the game goes on. This is still very powerful for black because we have a massive center and a very powerful pawn break, which is f6. f6 is a very nice pawn break in these positions, and this is a nice way to play because more times than not, they will probably play something like queen here. And then you can start to see the problems after f6, where if we take, they cannot take back.
Oh, yeah.
So really, they have to take us. And we have so many options to play for. And this is just massive flexibility in the position. We have many different lines to calculate, and we'll choose the best one accordingly. And moreover, here's the thing. When you're playing these quick attacks on the king side, it's important to have the E and F pawns together. You need these pawns working together because if you have one but not both, that's just gonna not lead to any fruitful attack. Let's say we see this position again, and we play knight takes. Even if they do manage to play this somehow, which seems very impossible in this position, it's not going to generate any sort of play. So this is an important thing to notice, and it's really just a weakness by itself. So
interesting.
Huge weakness there. And we force it because they have to take. So let me run the engine and see what the engine says. Yeah, already sitting at minus 0.5, which is good enough.
Yeah, nice.
The engine will prefer this more than a human would, so a human would probably evaluate this as a lot worse for white, and it's because it's so hard to play for white. It's really hard to play, and the only hope that white has in these positions is somehow, I don't know, managing to win this pawn and opening up some lines. But our bishop is always a good defender here.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, takes. Queen d4 I don't like because it has a very simple response. I think this is a bit of a one mover. They have c3, and we're gonna have to move our queen a lot now.
Yeah.
So
Well, it
we
was
get
with
kicked around.
this was deliberator. I knew they had that move, but I thought it was nice to take away the the knight square. I thought it was
I see.
annoying. So
Yeah, I don't think it to be that great. You can play like this, but I would prefer to just play with like bishop to d7 and try and add some pressure to this diagonal.
yeah.
Yeah, and we get kicked around a lot. This is a big mistake by them. It would be better for them to just kick you around a bit more and play for this. And what you really want to get is you want to get this queen off this nice diagonal here. Because if you have this queen here, white really can't castle. So their main goal should be trying to expand somehow. Maybe even this and this, I don't know. Or maybe here after queen b6, now we could go knight here. Sorry, queen here and then play bishop to get the queen off. But you can see that white is getting too much
Yeah.
for the amount of moves that we've played.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But this is a very nice move, taking full advantage of their mistake with queen e2. Queen trade, okay, yeah, I like it. Long castles, hitting the bishop. Ah, and a terrible blunder. Terrible blunder. Because it's just a double attack. It does have to be calculated, and I think that was something you missed. So let's look at this from this position and try and calculate two different variations that are possible.
Well, there is there is this.
But yeah, you have to play c5.
I was thinking about you know, the capture sequence. Isn't this just equal? Because we also have this. But let's say I play here. I think it's forced that they take the knight here. I mean, what else are you doing? Then I take the bishop. Yep. They can take a rook. Then I have check. I also take a rook.
Yep.
And then, well, yeah, what's going on there? They have a bishop here. It needs to evacuate. Let's say they go back here. Well, there is a. Well, I do have an annoying pin here. I can also just grab the pawn here.
So let's look at this position from just positionally speaking. Because when you've calculated the line and you feel like, okay, now things have started to cool down. Now it's not as calculative and tactical. You need to take a step back and evaluate what the position holds. And let's say we have a rook here, the bishop is here. Which piece is more powerful? The bishop or the rook?
The rook, definitely. Right?
Because the rook stops this development move. So this knight is paralyzed. This rook also can't get into the game if the knight can't move. So this is just a killer threat. Killer pin here.
Yeah.
So even though we're equal in material, positionally speaking, we are doing a lot better. So this is the full line for black. Here, takes, and then we would play takes, check here, and takes. And you can see how hard it is to get any development done while we have some very clear plans. Maybe bishop here.
Yeah.
They would have to go here, but then takes. I mean, everything is falling apart. So what would they do in this? What would be their best approach to this, it would probably be to try and make a counter threat and play something
Oh,
like, yes, exactly, h3. And if we go back here, maybe they push f5 and this starts to get very annoying.
no,
We'd have to go back here.
I would take the bishop,
Yeah,
I think, and then grab the pawn as well.
perfect.
Yeah.
Takes, h takes. I would not take that c pawn actually.
No?
The reason being is they could just play something like king to e2, and we have made their development a lot easier after knight takes c3.
Yeah, we cannot hold on to the
You see?
pawn. Yeah.
So this intermediate move here, this king move, is actually very strong. What
Yeah.
I would do instead is play for knight takes g4,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's just a clear pawn. If they ever do take, we get this, and it's an attack.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, yeah.
I like it. So what to do now? The game has sort of cooled down again, and we are definitely better. We're not up material, but it seems a lot better for us. How do we proceed?
Well, I need to activate my bishop somehow. So yeah, how to do it? I mean, this is not really going to help because they just push by. Yeah, what to do? Maybe you want to expand here and here. Now, but we also need to connect the rooks. We need to do something with the bishop.
Going back to the beginning of the lesson, f5 and e5 forces a structural setup, which is f4 and e5. And who does this benefit? White or black?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. Here. Yeah, I guess I have another pawn ready here to undermine. I don't know who its
We
benefits.
get to play a very cool pawn break, which is f6 if that happens. And remember, if we get this f6 and they cannot defend this pawn anymore, we are going to have a very weak pawn here on this square to target. So f5, e5, bishop g7 first, so that we can play f6, knight a3, and now we can play f6. We can even play g5 if we really want to. So g5 takes, we get some nice pressure here. This bishop has opened up and starts attacking some things. We can even combine this with this move and start adding some very nasty pressure. But I would prefer f6
Yeah, I like
because
it as
I'd like
well.
to undouble these pawns. f6, how do you defend? You really can't.
No, that's not.
Yeah, you can try this,
I will just take it.
but we take.
Yeah.
Perfect. And we get this very weak pawn. We get the 7th rank, and everything is falling into place.
How do you come up with this plan in that position when the bishop is still here? What's the thought
So
process?
the
Because
thought is I have this knowledge stored about the different opening positions I can find, and if I can force an opening position or a structure which I know I have a specific game plan to play for, then I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be able to execute it. So this is how I come up with it, because I know from playing the Sicilian, if they have this structure here, f6 is a really strong pawn break. And I know that when they push e5 too soon, this e5 pawn is really weak. So
yeah,
that's all the factors that go into finding this plan. Okay, taking away b5. c7 is perfect because the knight has no squares to go to. Now our position's looking very nice. We have b5 in the future, yes. Rook d2, I like. Yeah, c4 would be great if we could play bishop takes. But if we get into this position and play bishop takes now, I don't think this is as powerful because opposite colored bishops, and I don't see how we ever add more pressure to this bishop, unfortunately.
No.
So we had to play this way, which I think is best. I think it's best to preserve the bishop. Interesting. So how to go about this? We have a pawn we can take, and they have a pawn we can take.
Yeah.
So the ideal situation here is, well,
it's annoying.
this situation is never going to change. We can always attack this pawn. Our rook is always going to be good here on the 7th rank. But the way to deal with this, generally speaking, is to take away their threats before capturing. So we can play something like bishop takes first. When they take, the knight has no moves again, and now we take. And this is a very important positional analysis here, where the knight is a very bad piece compared to this bishop. And rook are definitely not equal because this rook has so many threats and just completely cuts the king off. So we have two very superior minor pieces here.
Yeah.
Sorry, a minor piece and a major piece. And it just, even though we're not material, again, it just feels like we have too much going for our position.
Yeah, this is close to being winning here with the outside passer, maybe.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Why didn't I go for
the
this?
difference with takes?
Yeah.
Still very good. Yes. And this is a very big mistake, I'd say. The reason this is a mistake,
I see.
every time we trade into a specific endgame, we need to evaluate the strength or the weakness of that specific endgame. So definitely here, the rook endgame favors white. And going more ahead, I saw you made a trade of rooks later on here in this position, and this is also something which needs to be critically evaluated. And here the endgame is winning for white.
I had no time to calculate this, to be honest. So it was just an how say it? My gut feeling is obviously wrong, but I thought I could reach one of those squares first.
Yeah, I imagine that was the thinking here, and low time being the problem. Yeah, so this just comes from practice, 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 and the more you practice these endgames, the more you practice the analysis of which endgame will be better for who, the easier it becomes, and at some point this will become intuitive and so easy to play.
But here, what would be a better way to go about this? Because I'm going to lose a pawn. It's pretty annoying.
So they're attacking this pawn. We can, and it's also a doubled pawn. So two factors that lead us to want to make a move with this pawn, and the move here is f5. That's not f5. f5. And they cannot take us because we take them. And if we take, we undouble and hit this knight.
Oh, but there's this.
Oh, that's true. But we can play this maybe? Here. And then this endgame is definitely better for us. Bishop versus knight, I'd take any day. Yeah, that's a very fine resource there.
But then maybe here? Or we just dance around the rook, yes.
King up? Yeah. As long as we can hit this rook, I think we're good. He could maybe try sacrificing, maybe? Take, 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 yeah. So what to do here? Here? This is definitely the move. Takes would not work for him, so check like you said. So this. I don't think it would make a difference to go here or to another square. Oh, I see now. Yeah, it's very simple. It's very simple. I missed the move. King up, they take, we play check.
Ah,
And
intermezzo.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, then
Yeah.
this is winning.
Oh, that's very clever. Yeah.
I think you'd find that pretty easily in a rapid game if you were to land in this situation.
Yeah.
The endgame we looked at. But here, it's better than the king and pawn endgame. And the reason this is losing, I'd say, but still a chance to come back, is Rook endgames are infamously known for being draws or being drawish. And this being the case, I think the best way to proceed is just trying to trade off every single pawn on the board and eventually reach 1-0, and the king just seems too far away. So the chances of reaching a position where we can defend a 1 against 0 is very high. So I'd just go maybe pawn grabbing, they take us, we walk up with the king, sacrifice pawns, but eventually we reach a position like this. The king is cut off. Eventually we're going to be able to defend this and no further progress can be made.
Yeah, pretty straightforward actually in hindsight. Yeah.
It always is. It's always harder when you're in the game. It always sucks when they find some good moves and it puts you in a difficult position. And
but they play so fast sometimes, you know. It's
yeah.
I'm spending all this time, and they are still having like 9 minutes or something, and I'm down to
But you can see
a minute.
you can see how serious the opening issues were for whites. Like this was an issue, and this was probably because they play fast. I mean, this was definitely a wrong move, and we could have a very nice position from the start.
Yeah.
And if they play fast like this, and you manage to find the critical moves to punish it, then that's when you can actually spend a lot of time and not worry about the clock.
Yeah.
So you can use the quickness to your advantage.
That's true.
And e5, another huge mistake. Again, working on the theme where we had that last game where this structure was very weak. Now it's even weaker because f4 isn't a move, bishop f4 isn't available just yet. Many times they may try something like queen e2 in these positions. And here's a line that I play, and I'll show you just how strong this counterplay for white is. So let's say we get something like this, and we play. Should we play d4 now or should we not? Let's not play d4 just to highlight this. So this would be a mistake. Actually, let's not play g6. Let's just play this. To be very, very silly with it. Okay, they've played this, which is a very silly idea. We can attack this by playing queen here. They can play something like queen here to defend it, and it's the only way to defend it. Notice that you can't play this because you actually go down a pawn. If you try this, take, and take. This is just being down a pawn.
Yeah.
So, really queen e2 is the only way.
That's very awkward.
There is a very nice move here for black. It's the top engine move. It's kind of crazy, but it completely makes sense when you think about it. g5.
Wow.
You could say this is a pawn sacrifice, but I tend to think of it as just a good trade because if they take this pawn, we will win this pawn here, and if we can trade a g pawn for an e pawn, then that's very good for us because the more pawns we have in the center, that idea of the Sicilian playing against the imbalances of pawns in the opening and the center, this is just 100% perfect Sicilian.
Do we take with the queen here?
We could trade with the queen and get a good endgame. This would be nice. And we can play immediately with these good pawns in the center. So yeah, not a good trade for white. But this is one of the most annoying openings here that I faced. This Alapin setup, it's really annoying in some positions, and I think you play correctly here with e6. I like the idea of blunting this bishop a lot, and many times in the hyper-accelerated Sicilian, you will be playing like this. And yes, this is a bit weakening.
Yeah.
This is something that the accelerated dragon doesn't play with, but it's very playable here for black, and I think it's even better from this point.
Okay.
So e5, we can play knight c6 and immediately start targeting this. If they play d4, that's okay. d6, pawn break, nothing to do against this.
Yeah, I didn't play that, I think, right?
Yeah, you played knight e7 here. What was the thinking behind this move? This is a very typical move because you want to play d5.
Yes, yeah.
Was this the idea?
Yeah, actually it is. Yeah, but now that I look at it, I don't know why I needed to insert knight e7 there, because I could just play it on the previous move as well.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you want to. Yeah, okay. I actually like the idea of knight e7 for this because if we just do play d5, they would have this check, and this could be a bit annoying. So, yeah, I like this castles and then push so that there's no check. They're forced to take en passant. They have no other choice, and we take.
Yeah.
Yep. And I like that you queen take here. This is a very bad move by them. Black's a play.
If they can play that successfully, that is so annoying.
Yep.
That is so annoying. What to do? Can this work?
Yeah.
Takes,
and it does.
Because
Stakes.
we take with check
we attack
here.
the knight.
Yeah.
Yep. If they play like queen a4, we take the knight all day, every day. And if they take back, which is the best move, we can just take, and we've won a pawn. They've they've conceded casting rights forever, and they try to get out. I mean, it's just another perfect Sicilian endgame where we have this weak e5 pawn, very hard to defend, and we can just follow up with knight c6.
Yeah. 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 Wow, I missed that.
And this was a very good move by him. I'm surprised he found this. Yeah, then he gets this. He made a mistake, actually. This was a mistake. You shouldn't be taking here.
No.
And again, this structure in the center. Our bishop is useless if we can't activate the bishop any further, which is why one of our main pawn breaks is still to play f6, regardless of this. So really what they should be doing is playing f6 themselves and stopping us from this idea. Because if we don't have this pawn push, how good is this bishop really?
Oh, this is not
if we have to go back.
Oh, this is not a fun game. No.
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 So,
oh yeah.
Got a bit lucky there.
Yeah, I see it now. Wow. Huh.
Just going on like hyperkill mode on this, maybe even queen takes to still have this idea of f6. I don't see many threats of knight g4. Here we can just slide back and I think we're doing fine. Or maybe go on the aggression and start trying to infiltrate somehow. Would be nice. So yeah, I don't think there's any real threats to this move here that white can make. But this is good. This is strange by him. Not really sure what this is all about. Yeah, he's just helping you improve. There must be some tactic here. At some point, this will just be unguardable.
Yeah, indeed. But what to do?
And I'm already driven towards ideas of not defending this pawn. Because if we have a situation where the queen has to take, then it's open season on this knight. We can play something like knight moving and then taking. Which is exactly why this is a good move. Because we take, they have to take the knight, take.
Yeah.
F4.
You're crazy.
Again, a lot of similarities in the structure. Can we play h3 here? h6? Yes, we can. Oh. So h6 was good. h6 was very good. But as the famous Bobby Fischer says, when you find good, look for better. Black to play and win.
Black to win away. No, I don't think I see it. I mean, here. Oh, wait. You also have this check. Takes, check.
King h1.
Yeah, but then the rook.
Yep, that's mate.
Oh, this is checkmate. Wow.
Yeah. So you have to block with the queen. So after takes, bishop g4, you have to block with the queen.
Amazing. Wow. It was just
very strange tactic that seems very unlikely.
Ooh, that was such an annoying move. I didn't know how to get out of it.
I think we can just take, no? If we just take. Because if they take and take, I mean, I'm happy to play this position. I know I just said right now that 2 rooks are better than a queen, but we are up 2 pawns. 2 very well defended pawns. This is under attack. All we have to do is play this, and looks good. The rooks are only better than the queen if they can coordinate together, right? And these rooks are not coordinated. Moreover, 2 pass pawns. It seems very hard to stop. Okay.
Alright, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or leave a comment. I would really appreciate it. And I hope I will see you back the next time. Bye.